Okay, hello everyone and welcome to tonight's randomized gaming stream. I'm your host for the stream, as always, Random Game Riven, and this will be the last stream of the week. I've decided I'm going to be doing Monday, Tuesday and Thursday streams at the minute, so I'll take Wednesday and Friday off. We aren't going to be doing the fight night just yet, although the fight night will return, and I will be streaming regularly from 9:30 on each of those designated nights for the next few months. I will also put up some polls to see what you guys want me to stream as well. There have been certain consoles we haven't covered yet, like the N64 in the streams, and I could certainly dig up quite a few, an array of titles, so thank you. Now, you may wonder why I've got the Sega Saturn demo music playing in the background. Partly that's as a background test to see if we can actually do that type of media stream, which is quite nice, and I will be doing a bit more of that aspect in the future. That way there will never be a dull stream. However, there is a reason I'm doing that tonight. I will be using some YouTube music in the background because previously, although we have put a video of Dark Savior up on the channel with the original music, that got us a content ID. Now, I don't normally mind content IDs on the main video. However, for live streams, they can be a bit more precarious. So as a result, I don't want to make sure we get a content ID on a live stream. So I'm basically just going to remove all the music and instead replace it with YouTube music that's sort of roughly fitting and similar to the music in question in game. So I hope you don't mind it when we start. So yeah, I currently got the Sega Saturn demo music, which is quite a nice thing. I thought we'd just give that a whirl, and that seems to be working quite well. So thank you and hello. This, of course, is Dark Savior on the Sega Saturn. It was released in 1996. And it was developed by Climax Entertainment. And it's effectively the third game in the Landstalker, Lady Stalker trilogy. Dark Savior officially, I don't believe, is tied into anything, but I think there's some murmurings it's supposed to be part of the Landstalker timeline. And I think there was mention it's supposed to be tied to Fedra as well, which... However, interestingly, if it's tied to Landstalker's thing, this technically then makes it part of the Shining series. It's a very interesting story, Dark Savior, in terms of as a game, because it's basically a very interesting take on Groundhog Day. If you haven't seen the Bill Murray film, it's a very similar premise. Basically, your character, whenever you complete the game, always winds up back at the start and the circle keeps repeating. So it leaves you very open-ended as to what the actual story is. I've heard a couple of fan theories. I don't actually think the ones I've heard on the internet are quite right, because I think the actual ones indicate from the very start that I think my synopsis take on it is that actually you're actually a prisoner on the island from the very start of the game, because they mention that your character bumped off one of his own team during the capture of the main villain. So this is an isometric game. It does look lovely on the Sega Saturn. It really does look good. It really is. It's one of those games that deserved to be more successful than what it actually was, sadly. And I will pause the music in the background for the minute. I will have to keep an eye on the background music though, just to make sure I keep updating it for the same bit. So I got one theme for battles, one thing. Actually, let me lift that up a bit so I can see the audio mixer. Okay, so I'm just going to turn off the Sega Saturn one. When I start, I put on a new theme. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you like my selections for the alternative music. As I said, there is a stream. We do a gameplay video on the channel that has the official music, but because I got a content ID, I thought I won't do it for this stream. If we ever do another full-on playthrough video, I will have all the music back on it. But I think it's partly some of the music was shared, so I just think for the safety sake on the live stream, I won't use the original music. But apologies, that does mean we'll lose we'll lose the sound effects as well. As you can see here, I cannot turn off the music in the option menu. So, without further ado, let's actually get into Dark Savior. So here we have the title screen. I'll be greeted with an opening cutscene. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to set up a music track. So here we go. Now loading. So you see here, you've I'll be creating a cartridge. You can switch to the BIOS as well, which is quite nice. And that team is Climax. It's quite a nice thing. It's really smooth as well. And that's actually a transparent... That is a 3D transparency. On a 2D plane, the background, the Dark Savior background, is actually transparency. Oh, wow, I never realised that. You actually realise you can just about see it's a full-on transparency. Very, very nice. Shows you what happens in the right... So I'm actually going to begin a new game on cartridge. So hopefully enjoy my music that's a substitute for the actual gameplay music. What was that just now? Sounded like a monster. It does actually support the 3D pad, but the analog pad's only used for 3D camera views, which makes its analog 3D controller support a bit useless. Wasn't it an earthquake? No, that was Bayern. I should pronounce... Not Bayern. Billen. Billen, that was Billen. Do you mean the Billen? Yes, he's finally been apprehended. I should put on a pirate accent. The infamous villain was caught, are you sure? A special assembly team of bounty hunters got the credit. Talk like a pirate. Unbelievable. The bounty team also took a casualty. Though the rumor has it that one of their team members is responsible for the killing. The ship will be used to transfer villain. Where to? Jailer's Island. Oh yeah, the prison island is known to be inescapable and run by the notorious warden, Kurt Lygen. Is that Kurt Lygen or Kurtle Lygen? Probably Kurt Lygen. I guess this is the end of that dreaded monster villain once he's sent to the island. Oh, I think it would be premature to think so. What do you mean? I'm afraid he'll probably manage to escape. But the Curie is supposed to be very good. They don't know how dangerous Billen really is, no matter how tightly they secure him. Hey, be careful. What if they can hear us? Look, the bounty team is about to get on board. And that's enough of me doing silly accents. Do the talk like a pirate day. So, Sherry, hey Garion, why don't you listen to me once in a while? You're a stubborn bounty hunter. Now, notice they mentioned that your character, one of your team got bumped off, and I'm wondering if that's actually a reference to why you're actually supposed to be on board. Stubborn bounty hunter. Yeah, I know, Kiwi, I know you are just trying to fulfill your duty, but this voyage is too dangerous. There's no need for you to go. Leave the escort to Bill and Nick and Roland. No, leave the escort of Bill and to Nick and Roland. Just leave it to them to do their job. If you don't want to go, now is the time to say so. And in a more animated style, Billen is no ordinary creature. You should know what a vicious monster Billen is. I want to try and do an American accent. Isn't it strange, though? Who would want to use such a dilapidated ship to transport Billon? The agency is insane. Garion, is it better for you not to go? Stay with the team and take on less dangerous bounty assignments. It's no use, Sherry. Garion has never been a team player. Besides, this is a good chance to make a lot of money. But hey! Look, Billon is about to be loaded onto the ship. Enough of my attempt to be a voice actor there. See, there we go with Garion. Jack, we must get going. Listen up, guys. Garions choose to take... Shouldn't that be chose? Garion choose to take on this mission for himself. Don't try to stop him. Be chose. I don't need to listen to you, agency spy. Now that line I don't think is very clear. I'm no spy, I'm Jack. So Jack the little bird that I think is from the agency that hired you in the first place to catch Billon. And as you can see there, the ship sets sails. Incidentally, that's the full ship. That bit on the side, you can actually walk around. As you can see, it's a very impressive start. This is it's very nice the way they did this. Like Grandia, this is a great mix of sort of 2D-ish sprites. I think they may have 1 or 2 polygons. The 2D and some great 3D visuals that actually still hold up very, very well. It's very stylized, so it holds up much better. Hello, deep in friendship and maintain the world peace. Yes, this is a fantastic game. So here we go. Help, please, somebody help, help. Arg! Yes, unfortunately, that poor soul gets swallowed up by Belion. Yes, but it's more like Landstalker's Deep in Friendship and Maintaining the World Peace. This is basically a follow-up to Landstalker's on the Mega Drive. Garion, what the... Yeah, so that line, a few of these lines are a little bit rough, but the dialogue overall is actually very good. Jack, what's wrong? You're dripping with sweat. I just had an awful dream. Oh yeah, I had a bad dream too. What was your dream about? Can't remember much of it. But Billon escaped from the ship and he went through a metamorphosis on Jailer's Island. Well, that's the exact dream I had. Now, this is the beginning of the game where effectively this is the reset point after you complete every parallel storyline. So I will go for parallel 1, which is basically if you screw up and don't get to Billon first. So basically on the ship, depending how fast you go through the stage depends on whether you can which part of the storyline you actually get on the Saturn. So this game effectively there are 3 effectively branching paths, although the game officially acknowledges 5 parallels. The 4th parallel occurs straight after the 3rd parallel, and the 5th parallel is basically a bonus fight arena. So Garion, what's that flower in your bounty hunter's handbook? It's a blue rose. What is a blue rose doing? Now this is a precursor to the events that are going to take place on the island, and basically you will always get this occur. So I'm just going to change the background music now. Just to mention, you guys, I am... Unfortunately, because we've had a content ID when I've covered this before, I am going to use background music that's YouTube stuff, so as not to get a content ID on this video. I will do another video. If I ever do a full playthrough on the channel, we have already done a gameplay video on the channel where we use the official soundtrack, but we got a content ID on that. What a nightmare. It seems Bill escaped from his cage. The ship is under siege. So here's where we go into the live action part. Almost every crew member has been killed from Nick in such a short time. Take a look around for yourself. There should be some screaming at this point. That's in the actual gameplay videos. The gameplay video I covered at the start of this. Gary, let's split up and look for Roland. We might be able to save him. Jack, I'm afraid it's too late. It's best to stay here. Be quiet, I'm going anyway. I have to save Roland. What are we going to do if you stay here, Gary? There's a chance they'll survive. There's a chance that you'll survive. Once you step out of this room, you will have to face villains sooner or later. Now, if you stay here and remain quiet, you might just save yourself. So he's telling you to actually stay here. Sadly, there isn't a route if you just stay here. Garion, don't come out or you'll be killed. Oh. So it doesn't actually mention what kills him. So like Landsabers, I can jump, I can run, I've got a menu. So if I bring up the handbook, I've got, so you can see the items. Blue rose, mysterious flower which only blooms in lavin. So how did you get that in your own? You've got Jack, who's your sort of, ask Jack for a hint. To increase maximum HP, you buy points regen. Sadly, there isn't an option to turn off the music, otherwise we can have the sound effects. You've got equipment, warrior's bracelet, and status. So, to send out the SOS signal, go upwards, follow the path that goes up. This old ship has gone through many repairs and the inside is like a maze. If you think you might get lost, use the L button and D-pad to look around before going. Nick, I don't want to die. So yes, you can run. So basically, this is the Saturn's take on Landstalkers. It was made by Climax, who made Landstalkers, and basically, as we've been showing in over the week, we did Landstalkers on Monday, we did Lady Stalkers on Tuesday, which is the second game in the series, although none of the games are directly connected. They're all technically different franchises. But I do highly recommend this if you're a fan of sort of Sega Saturn games. This did get released in all regions, so there is a European release, there is a North American release, and there is a Japanese release. I suspect the North American one might be, I know, a bit more expensive, but the Japanese and European releases are still fairly cheap at the minute. So now, depending how quickly I can explore... Oh, is there an item down there? Yes, there is. I've got a bit of chocolate. So, little bit of fact. Those chocolate bars were actually cigarettes in the Japanese version. Basically, there's like the items you trade in the Japanese version relate more to prison. So there's like the Japanese version, I think the cigarettes, one's porn magazine and something else. But basically, they would change like chocolate, candy, and I think just like a standard magazine in this version. Now, there are a number of routes. So you see that timer in the bottom right corner. Depending how quickly I get to the captain's cabin, depends which parallel the story will take me to. So there are multiple versions of the events in the storyline. And depending how quickly I go, depends on which of the three main parallels I go. Garen, I did not want to die in such a place. This is Roland. I look forward to going hunting with you again. So alas, poor Roland's no longer with us, and he is dead. Looks like one punch killed him. Yep. So unfortunately, everyone unfortunately dies pretty much on the ship, except the only character you can actually save is the captain. You can actually get to him super fast, or you can take a bit longer. So I actually want to get up to there. I want to whack that. Can I read that? A message from the captain. The window is cracked. Stay away. Like I said, I'm taking my time. So you literally have to be blindingly quick if you want the fastest parallel. You have to take the shortcut. It's actually rather difficult to get the fastest parallel. You will not get the fastest parallel the first time you do this. In fact, the first time you do the game, you're basically, because you're not meant to know the ship layout that well, the game intends for you to get parallel 1. And there is a reason for that, because parallel 1 is basically the darkest parallel and relates to the fact of what Jack said right at the start about Brian undergoing and Belian going under a metamorphosis on the island. Basically, in this parallel, Belian gets the drop on pretty much everyone, and this one's probably the saddest parallel, whereas the other ones you get to Bill Lyon much quicker and take him out, and then the whole plot of the story changes. So here we go, there are sliding metal plates ahead. If you can jump onto them, there's a shortcut to the captain's cabin. But if you fail, you'll fall to the floor below. It's too dangerous even for you. It takes longer, but it's wiser to go through the storeroom window. So yeah, there's two things I can do. I can jump across here to get to the other side. I'm going to be lazy because I want to show off a bit more of the ship. There's actually a little treasure bit here. I can actually get... I'm going to do this. So this one I'm going to go for the loot rather than trying to get... So if you do like Landstalkers, there is lots of puzzles in this. This one's probably a bit shorter than Landstalkers, actually. And there is actually quite a lot of repetition in it as well. So there's a bonus area here. Get some meat. Picked up bottle. Yeah, I think the bottles were trade items. I think they're the bottles of whiskey bottles or something, or alcohol in the Japanese version. So I check items. I've got 2 meat, 1 bottle. So yeah, some of these items are used to exchange with other items. In the Japanese version, they were more related to Jailer's Island. Again, we whacked that. So I'm taking the long way round. Basically, if you use the jumping section that the other guy tells you about, we would just... You only skip out a teeny bit, actually. You basically actually just skip out this bit here. I think there's something behind here. So I can go there, and just to show you, if that's basically the jumping section, you can skip ahead to here, or you can skip ahead to... There you go. Mushai, hey, you're Garion, the guy who killed one of your own comrades. I was sound asleep. My cage, then awoke and saw this mess. What the heck is going on? Did you see past my sound asleep? So this is the work of the monster who's sentenced to death by carbon 3s. Not bad. I feel better. Sorry, but I cannot get you out of your cage. I don't have the key. We're on our way to the captain's cabin. We'll see what we can do. Even if I survive, I'll spend the rest of my pathetic life on Jailer's Island. I'd rather see the ship sink to the bottom of the ocean. Then you will all follow me to the River Stye. Give it up, Garion. I know about your destiny. You are bad luck. Whoever you come across will die or suffer an even greater misfortune. And you yourself. Ha ha. So, listen up, Garion. Lucky for you they captured me, but don't forget this journey is a one-way trip. You will never escape your tragic fate. Remember that. So that character actually hints towards the more darker elements of this game, and the fact that everything constantly replays itself, which is quite interesting. Was there? Oh no, that's the little... But just to show you can actually adjust with the right trigger. I can adjust the thing as with the camera angle, so it's quite dynamic. Unfortunately, you can't rotate it thoroughly, so there is actually a couple of hidden... I'm going to take the long way around, but I will show you a few of the shortcuts while I'm doing it. So one of the shortcuts was the one with the jumping. You've also got a shortcut here. If you want to, you can... This will take you... You can go down that way and run around the back of the ship, which is a shortcut. But this time around I'm going to be far too slow, so there, we've got to go and hit that switch. I need to jump on this one with a crate first of all, because I need to be able to be high in order to jump on where I'm going next. So we hit that, and then I want to drop down on this one, and then I'm going to stop, and we're going to go through here. So yeah, you do need to know. I mean, it's quite nice you can actually see down below. I think you might be able to. Oh, is there an item there? Picked up meat. So yep, we've got more meat. Meat heals you. There are a few things that can take you damage. You can get there is the fighting in this, but fighting in this is not like Landstalker's. It's like a slightly weird Street Fighter style combat, and that was probably one of the weakest elements of this, the fighting, sadly. So here we go to the next part. This bit I actually have to jump through the lava at this point, or the damage on the ship, in order, although I can avoid taking too much damage. So I've got to hit that switch and push this, and the whole thing comes tumbling down. And then if you took one of the shortcuts, you could get to there. So that would bypass. Although I don't know how much it bypass. A lot of the shortcuts I don't think bypass stuff that quickly. It's just if you know what you're doing. So there's the captain screaming for help. Can we get to him in time? Well, I'll leave you to guess that. I'm just trying to grab a few of the tradable items, seeing as I'm going the worst route. There's the back end of the ship. Now, there's actually a lower passage on the side you can use. So here's the captains. This is the agency. I'm Crater. I'm the Snakebite team leader. I'll report your progress to the agency. And we can say choose memory slot. Save game complete. Alright, I'll send. Careful. We've got the captain's key. So now we can enter the captain's cabin. See if we can save the captain. I'm actually quite badly injured, so I should probably just use a meat. Okay, the door is locked, so I've got to use the captain's key. Yeah, wouldn't be too hard if you had a Japanese version. Japanese version said there's a few minor there's a few censorship changes. Ugh, the monster you see there was almost snatched away by Billen. But then you guys are right, ugh, so Billen took off. Ugh, I can't hold on anymore. So it is true, he's not Billen. He's a clone left behind by the real Billen. But Gary, very careful though. He's not as powerful as Billen. His killer instincts are just as strong. This will be your first battle of the mission. Fight bravely. So yeah, basically this is a fake Billen or a clone. So here we go with the combat. So basically the combat is probably where the game fell down. You've basically got a couple of moves. You've got a charged super. The most noticeable thing about the combat is you can actually capture a lot of the enemy characters with the super. So if you capture them, you can then fight as them, use them to fight for you in later fights. You can't actually capture the clone of Billen though, so. And each fight actually takes place over 2 rounds. I'm just trying to see if I can. He's got me in that second round, although I'm going to be well on the lead. Basically has sort of killer instinct fight style, so. Normally what happens is you knock them down, then it'll say capture chance, and basically what you want is to have your super ready, or on the verge of being ready, so that way you can unleash your super and get a capture chance. So that is the end of Billen's clone. It's Billen, he is on deck. So we'll make a break for it. Unfortunately, as you can see here, he's already escaped. Now, pending how well you do, you can get here and actually rescue the captain. Just even go this way. We can't actually go. Can we actually go out this way? You can actually go. If you go back that way, you can actually go out the wrong door. Okie dokie. I'm supposed to go out this one. Where is Billen? "200 yards. Yes, Billen has already escaped and is headed towards the island. On his own will. Okay, guys, I'm just going to let this play out. I'll be back in a few minutes. I need to take a quick toilet break. Actually, this is parallel 1, Hunt for the Evil, which is the first parallel. I'll just actually change the music as well. But hello to Shinobi Wan and Cher Porter. Thanks for joining the stream, guys. Just change the music. Apologies that I mentioned I have had to dummy out the music, so because I've got a the chocolate they taste here tastes really awful, you know. In your vegetables, I don't want you to get sick. Yeah, we had a content ID before by one of the rights holders. Now, I don't normally mind them when we're doing videos, but on live streams that can be a little bit more precarious. So I've just put in some music from the YouTube playlist that's sort of fitting for the relevant sections. And this is the warden celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Kurtlagen. Prisoner. Hey, Drizzit, wait a minute. I heard a rumour that you joined the underground prisoner organisation known as the JLO. Is that true? No time to talk. Is the JLO really preparing a rebellion? Strange, the weapon dealer is not here yet. Yeah, unfortunately the weapon dealer's had a rather unfortunate incident, it seems. So there's the ship, and that's actually in the whole outer ship, so that bit on the bottom is actually an additional pathway, so those aerial shots are quite good. Unfortunately, in Parallel 1, the lion gets to eat pretty much everyone in the game. We just made it to the Jailer's Island, but something is terribly wrong. Furthermore, even the air smells vile. Yes. Anyhow, we should meet with Warden Kurt and tell him that Billen has escaped and may have landed here. There we go, jumping off the ship. So some great actual height. So that's actually the ship. And on the outer route there, so you see those platforms, the shortcut, you can actually jump on them. Country regime. Has escaped. Aside from us, only Mishura, the prisoner's senses I survived the voyage. The rest were killed by Billen. I was unable to alert you earlier because the transmitter was destroyed. I'd like to see the warden as soon as possible. Having the lockdown, you are free to roam around the area and the neighbouring JJ City. We will take custody of Mushai from here. Thank you for your troubles. Get yourself a knife. The next ship that will be here in 3 days. In other words, go home. Let me give you a word of advice. This island is filled with prisoners who carry big grudges against bounty hunters. I suggest you be very careful. Don. So yes, basically we're not going to be that popular. Yes, the ship has basically... They sent us on a dilapidated ship that's now been overrun. So depending how you do in the opening ship depends which of the storylines you do in Dark Savior, and each of the storylines is quite a bit different. The basic premise of the 3 storylines is, one, you basically Billen escapes, in the next one you can actually kill Billen before he ever gets aboard, so that way you defeat him and transfer all the prisoners. However, you discover who Billen was previously controlling, and then that starts a whole new subplot. And in the third case you arrive before Billen, so he gets away. But he still gets the island, although in that one Billen meets a cropper pretty quickly. You have to trade for the things you want. Popular items are chocolate bottles and magazines. Get to see my son. Today is the only day of the year that we are allowed to visit. The security is very tight. I'm sure there is an emergency. So yes, they just locked down the whole island. Very similar to the current what's currently going. Do you want to send a report to the agency? Yes. So let's go explore the town, shall we, guys? Yeah, Grandeur is a fantastic game and uses a similar viewpoint. So this is actually the doctor's office. If you do Parallel 2, this is where you end up right at the start, so... So increased our sword power, so you can upgrade it. So you've got some great height on these stages as well, so we are the next. He's a follower of DeBose. It looks like a banana. Tough. Can be deceiving. Do you get a whole crazy cast of characters in this? DeBose's followers on one side and Alibaba's followers on the other. So the same thing. So yeah, DeBose. So you get, there's quite a lot of background here. We've got Bruno as well. There's quite a few warring factions, which is quite interesting. You picked up Warden's Diary 1. I think we can read them as well. So then called a meteorite. A long time ago, the ancient civilizations of Lavian flourished on what is now called Jailer's Island. The legend that the one day this meteorite struck the island. The meteorite. Yeah, so I seem to recall the power of that society is actually part of the subplot. So as you can see here, we can explore certain parts of the island at the minute, but you do get some really nice height with the size of it. So here we go with Don again. Bushy territory regime back. Why not move here now? So basically, this was previously the warden's home city. So do you think he might have a bit of an agenda for taking it back? But you see, there's got quite a lot of depth of height there. So if I just run up around, just chat to that guy. Okay, I'll chat to them. We saved it. But yeah, it's quite nice you run around here. You can actually see like the factory of this height. So we have the boat to the side there as well. You can just see a speck of the boat. They've actually got some quite nice environments that this game takes place in. And I played through this back in the 90s and I absolutely adored it. It really was a fun game. Although I will admit, this is one of those Saturn games, despite me refinishing quite a few, I never refinished this one. It's been so long, I might actually replay it as well. Okay, and who is the mysterious lady? We will find out. Arr, hey you, isn't the police for mysterious bounty hunters like yourself? Absolutely no. No bounty hunters beyond this point. Don't take another step. Do you know how? What this place is? Or Howie? Only criminals are allowed to go beyond here, Howie. Do you get it? You cold-hearted bounty hunter, we talk like a pirate. But again, brother, today is none other than the Great One's birthday. I might make an exception for you. If you can drink the whole bottle of Jalapeno juice, I'll let you pass through. Yes, no. No. So this is points I hate in games when they force you to guarantee a whole bottle of jalapeno juice with one big gulp. Jalapeno juice. Amazing you drank that. Gonna knock you out cold, but then that's alright. As I promised, you can stay out of trouble. Quite why you'd want to get drunk when you could be... It's not open yet. Are you tracking someone? I'm not engaged in any activity. Oh, I'm a bit angry. So yeah, you've got some really nice 3D environments you can see here. It's a nice mix of 2D. I think there might be slightly 3D sprites. I know usually they actually use a polygon or two. So, or did I? Just to think straight. So yes, has Kay, the mysterious girl, already run through the town? So yeah, we have hierarchical structures in the prison, which is quite interesting. It's not open yet. It's all quite nicely set on the side of a mountain as well. Jalapeno Cafe. Okay, can we go in Jalapeno Cafe? Someone screams from... It's not open yet. There's anything tucked away around the back here. So you can, as I said, you can slightly adjust the camera angles to see. Although you can't permanently adjust them, you basically have to semi-adjust them. I assume that's because... Actually, that wall must be textured if that's... No, that probably that backing wall isn't actually textured where I'd place money on. As you don't have a full 3D camera. Okay, so back in town, we can't do much here. As you can see, the area is basically it's progressing us. So we're partly drunk and we're about to go forward. Oh, we are definitely very drunk. This is what Jalapeno. She's. Shriek, Lance, forgive me, Billen, it's all your fault. Got to know I killed my own camera. Get a hold of yourself. So this is Jalapeno juice working. See, that basically implies he's drunk. Take my dad away. Hi Nico, thanks for joining the stream. Is that you, Bill? How dare you call me that with an insult? I'll kill you. Yes, so boy versus Gary, and this. Get a hold of yourself. You're about. Hey Gary, and take a look. So that I think that's actually Kay stopping you from doing that. Gary, and take a look. How did you get that scar on your face? Yes, she doesn't like you very much. I don't blame her. Beyond this, even Bounty Hunter, go home. So yes, basically everyone's telling us to go home right now. Yes, yeah, YouTube's having craziness, Nikos. Yeah, the sprites are really nice, but yeah, that YouTube didn't like what you just said about that plot point, which is true. That's basically, there's quite a dark moment in the game. Open that door and she went in. So we've got to, obviously the game is telling us to go through that door, but we've got to find out how to get it. Yeah, the sprites are really detailed. I think there might actually be 3D polygons that have sprites on them. You've been sentenced. Happy birthday. Yes, one of the fan theories thinks that's why you're a prisoner on the island, but I think actually it's relating to your what happened with Lance. So I think the shops have now opened up now that we've had that sequence. But I actually think you're already... My synopsis... To capture others, yes. Said that after you defeat an opponent, you can capture their fighting skills. You can stop your opponent from attacking and disable them altogether. The old... Ho ho ho. Oh, that guy's a bit like Santa Claus, isn't he? Yeah, there's lots of sprite scaling in this as well. Certainly in the battles, everything scales very nicely. I mean, visually, this is one of those Saturn games that I think needs a lot more credit than what it gets. It really is. So I'm going to head to the cafe in a minute. I'm just going to check and chat to the other people now. But yeah, I think... Can't read that sign. That's interesting. Garion does have family though, so I'm surprised he doesn't mention that in this plot. In this one. So what's in here? Kurt's grandfather betrayed his boss, who was the ruler of the island, and took his... The current warden just carries the name. He's not of the same stock. Never mind. So yeah, Garion is quite an isolated loner in this respect. Now this, as I said, is the first parallel, so suffice to say things don't go too well in this parallel. The later parallel. Someone really sorry, a woman sneaking into Death Valley. It's the truth. It's a lie. No. Out my... What are you doing? Yeah, so you're not well liked, which is quite nice. There's definitely quite an atmosphere here. So, Richie, I've no... The bounty hunters get out of here, so yeah. Buy you a glass of jalapeno juice. The counter. Oh, we get another drink. Jack Garion, stop drinking that jalapeno juice. I heard something interesting. So yes, I took the coward's route rather than start a punch. Can we get... So yes, Billum possesses people and he's currently possessed. Drizzit there. So Yurgarian. Notorious bounty hunters poking around the island. Let's fight Dunbar. Now some enemies we get a capture chance on. But it is a bit random if you get a capture chance, so... Notice we're just fighting away and the guards are pretty... There I go, my super. Okay, oh yeah, so we can't capture Dunbar. Some quite nice sprite scaling with this bit, although these fights are probably the worst bit. Dunbar's really not very good. Got me that round. I'll finish him off this one. And there I go, got him with the super attack, although that didn't give me a capture chance on him, so... Capture bonus. Okay, so we've got the emergency exit key. I'm actually just going to go and save it. Yeah, and just a reminder to anyone joining the stream slightly later, this is not the original music you're hearing. I'm actually putting on some YouTube music. Oh, I should have equipped that sword power on earlier. They've got a nice little swaying ship. Unlike Landstalker, to say there's a lot of jumping in this between the combat, whereas Landstalker is more sort of a mix of gameplay. This has got some really nice ideas, but I think the combat is where the game slightly lets it down. It's not as good as many of the other, as probably even Lady Stalkers. Or okay, here we go. Inside Deadman's Castle, Kirk Lygen's research laboratory. Woo ha ha ha. Well, I first lost contact with the transport ship, then suddenly it arrives. Only then will we find out. Into the air, into thin air. Only then do we find out the villain has vanished into thin air. What a wonderful birthday present, don't you think, Doc? Must be relieved to find out villain has escaped. Smart. If he was to be immediately executed, so yes, the warden is not a good person. So pessimistic. He is, however, acting rather strangely. He shows no reason, he's very quiet. He also has a strange grin on his face. So it's interesting you actually have a 3D transparency on the menu load screen, although you don't in game. We've got... So it's a bit wondering why that occurs. I'm wondering if there was a certain... Thank you, Jack, for stealing my points. picked up chocolate. But you have to use the shadow to judge, but you do move very quickly when you've got the run on, because for instance I don't think some of these jumps you can make without using the running jumps, so you have to be a bit careful. Yeah, we have working transparencies and non-working transparencies in this. So you've got a net effect there, but we had the shadows actually a transparency. There are a few bonus areas. Oh, that ray of light looks like a net. That's weird. That's actually a sort of transparency come net effect. It's transparent on some, net effect on another, it seems. Oh. Exploration killed the cat, so to speak. Or curiosity. Oh, that's what happens when I rush. You're stealing my points, Jack. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Oh, well, that was annoying. There's a partial copyright on some of the music, and the Japanese version, almost all the soundtracks are basically on a CD, and there's a couple of singing tracks, and I had a content ID on them. So we've got a video already on the channel which does have the music, and the Sea Bandit theme that you have the main one on the ship is definitely content ID'd. Some of the music isn't, but because that one is, I thought I would give it a break for this stream. But if we do it again, I will have the actual music. But for this stream, because I'm not... content IDs on streams, I think, are a bit different to content... I mean, it should be okay, but I just wanted to be err on the side of caution for the stream. Because I've had before where you'd get a content ID on the stream immediately, and then the stream would get shut down. So it does mean apologies you don't get the... Come back when your luck turns. So yes, the black bird saves, the red bird, you can sell your stuff for points. Although I'd probably save and just stuff at a random grate there. That is actually slightly random. So this game was released in all territories. It is available in Japan, North America and Europe. I think it's probably going to be most expensive in North America these days, but I don't think it's that expensive overall. I think it's sort of cheap. Well, I think it's a reasonably priced game. I'm playing the PAL version, running at 60 Hz. I doubt it has any type of PAL optimization in the slightest. Yeah, anything Macross, you're going to get hit by a content ID. I'm very wary of some of those anime games because sometimes the Japanese... I mean, sometimes you just get a content ID, which just means that they take the revenue, which is fine, but you can get worse of things. So I just tend to... With the Japanese, I tend to be a bit more cautious. Can't I get that meat? Picked up meat. Just what you want. Meat on a tree. Yeah, I'm a bit wary of anything Macross, because I did pick up the recent Macross game on PS3 and a few other titles, but because you've got the music singing, I always get very nervous about them. So unlike Landsabers, you don't have too much combat outside of the battles. So that's one thing I don't like as much with this one. Garen, Bios. Okay, so we've got another battle. So this one's only a one-round fight. Yeah, anything with sort of cutscenes, I highly recommend. Come on, give me a capture chance. So this is a bit weird. Oh, that had 2 rounds earlier. That's a bug. It said it was... Come on. Ah, oh, damn it. I've just screwed the capture chances up. Right, I'll let him win a round. No, there's no much point. So basically, if you initiate a super when it says capture chance, you will capture that character. And you'll then be able to use them throughout the course of the game to fight on your behalf. So I'm slightly annoyed I lost out on that fight. By the way, most fights are one time only, so if you miss a capture chance, you need to replay the entire game to get that chance again. Can I jump? Just trying to work out where I... Nope. I gain points for winning a fight. It's one of those games I'm thinking, yeah, I'd quite like to replay this. You charge up your super, so the bar below your health fully, and then you initiate an attack. So basically what the tactic was is to charge it so it's almost the full way, then basically knock down the enemy and then do the final bit of charging. Ow. 4 jumps. Not doing too good for promotions this run so far. You can only capture certain enemies though. There are certain enemies that cannot be captured in the game. Some are also a bit random, so you can have a fight with them and not get the capture chance, and the next time you play it and you do get the capture chance. There's also, you can capture some enemies in some parallels and not other parallels, so again you have a lot of variation between the different storylines that occur. This is parallel 1, so things aren't going to turn out so well. One of the downside is because each of the parallels use the same locations, by the time you're playing the 3rd and 4th parallel, you know pretty much all the game off by like the back of your hand, so the locations do get a bit repetitive. There are a few locations only in certain parallels, however. It does support the 3D controller, but you can't use it to move. You only use it to use this move, so it's a bit pointless, really. We do have a nice camera control there. You can do that, and you've got camera control here to do this. Very much appreciate all the likes on the stream so far, guys. Glad to see you're enjoying it. We have previously covered it on the channel, as I said, and that does have the official music. I think I've already passed where I get to in that video, but if you want a look at the game, by all means... If you want to listen to the actual music, by all means have a look at that video. I'm just annoyed I missed the bear, as he's one of the better characters. I might actually go back and reload the save file after I've done the stream and capture, because I'm quite tempted to play through. Oh, where am I going now? So I've beaten that enemy, we've got the gate. Yeah, there must be something I can press along here that I'm missing. No, I can climb the tree. So you see, yes, we have all sorts of nasty traps on the side of the... And yes, we do have to go inside that contraption as well, as I remember. Oh, not there though. Oh, I just injured myself like that. I seem to recall we get to the rebellion base next and we start chatting with them, finding out what's going on, and they start telling you the warden is not all he's cracked up to be. Is that a statue of the warden or something there? Yeah, I think it is. not supposed to fall down there. So it's quite nice the fact you can see other characters and how what's going on. Oh, we've had a music change, so I'll change the music as well. I think I played Gearheads, didn't I? Yeah. Some nice 3D environment. So the 3D is actually very solid in this. You've got some nice depth and height as well, so I do recommend it. As I said, the game has multiple branching paths. Yes, you're pretty much right there. You can do everything. The base control, basically the 3D controller. You can do this. The 3D controller just lets you move this around, which is pointless. It's like, well, why can't I control Garion with the 3D controller? Because it'd be a bit nicer on the thumbs if you could control the 3D controller. So I'm not sure why they did that. Oh, that's... So I do really like this game, but I would agree, I think Landstalkers is probably the superior title. Purely because the combat in this lets it down. There's not much of it. It's basically kind of like a boss fight, Street Fighter thing, which I don't think works that well. So I've got multiple... You might be right there, Nico. It could well be a bit too grid-based. There's a bottle of whiskey up there, or a bottle of water, just a bottle as it is. Because these items are basically your currency, so you want to try and get as many as you can, else otherwise you're not going to be able to buy some of the better weapons and gear in the game. So here we are at the JLO. Master Bruno. Kurt's personal guards. That's a nice choice. Join us or die. So we've got to bring him, basically bring the villain to these guys. Got the JLO key. Nope. Yes, so as you can tell, this island, what's going on, is pretty dark. It's actually for a Saturn game, and I think the ratage of this is probably quite low as well. Atrocious monster. 11 to 14-year-olds, this game was recommended. It was an EPSPLA rated, so 3 to 10, no. 11 to 14, yes. 15 to 17, yes. 18 plus, yes. That's enough. Stop explaining. You can control. Is that real right? Yeah, it does. It's back when the ratages were a bit more sensible, actually. Yeah, I've seen some weird and wacky Peggy ratages in it. And that guy has a monocle. He's got a monocle. No. Ico is 3 plus. Yeah, there's a few Peggy games that have some weird ratages. I remember. go and explore. Oh, we've got another whiskey bottle, and I think we can get it by going through here. Yeah, I've never actually finished Ico. I need to finish Ico. What's Dog's Life on? What format's Dog's Life on? One of these things is not like the other, but I don't think there's any loot around here. Okay, cheers for the heads up on that, Nico. I really wish there was a list of games that basically said what music was content ID. I mean, I don't mind a content ID, but it's... I don't mind content IDs, but it's just... You don't want them when streaming because they can be a bit... They can just turn off the stream immediately, so... Track is the advert. Yeah, that does happen where... stuff like... EX Troopers, the only thing that's copyrighted is the main theme song. So he's been given the permission to open it, and this guy's not opening the kit item. Jet. Yeah, I mean, you can get IDs disappear as well. I've had a few IDs appear, then disappear. Just seeing if there's anything hidden around here. Doesn't look like it. I think it's only like 1 or 2 songs are content ID'd in this, but... And it's not even a full content ID, it's like a partial one. It's like you can share the music, but I just wanted to be careful in case there was a streaming issue with it. It probably isn't. Nice realistic physics there with a little bit hanging on the end. Ooh, that was some tight jumping on my part. A shame because the music is actually very good. Hi Charlie Ward, thanks for joining the stream. We're taking a look at Dark Savior, having looked. It's the third of the Climax isometric trilogy after Landstalkers and Lady Stalkers, which we looked at during the week. This must be the torture chamber. I got it. So yes, we've got to carefully walk around the edge. I wouldn't say there's too much slowdown. There's a little bit, but it's quite fairly smooth. But yeah, I would agree. The awkward... I quite like isometric, but I can agree the control angling can probably put quite a few people off it. A little hint of slowdown there as well on this section. But yeah, some of the jumps can be a bit precarious, I will admit. Now, is there a chocolate round here? I'm going to be full. Ah, there's Kay. Looks like she's in a spot of bother. Ah, the game is basically signalling for us to get to her. What's really nice is the branching paths in this, because how everything changes. So yeah, the game's basically signalling to us to go rescue. A woman in such a place. Hang on, I'm coming to get you. Pull you up. Stubborn ninja, I was so close to saving it. Ouch. Yes, I finished all the parallels a long time ago now, but I've done all the various branching paths in it. This is my original copy, actually, so this is from the 90s. I think I got this in 97. So yes, unfortunately Kay is a woman. Oh dear. What's their reaction? Yeah, Charlie, is on our guide site. This one's fine at 60 Hz. So if you have any questions about that, just check the guide, the official randomized gaming page. But yeah, this one's fine. Climax, I don't think optimized their games in the slightest. They optimized their SNES games. So yes, that was Kay's rather well. That wasn't actually her end, but this parallel is basically the rather sad parallel where nothing goes to plan, so to speak. Whereas when you redo it at parallel 2 and 3, you and Kay form quite a close bond. Basically, it all depends on how quickly you get to Billen on the ship, and that then changes the whole events of the course of the game. So you need to finish this game effectively 3 times, although there's 5 parallels. 2 of them are basically together. Yeah, she does have a weird, crazy hairstyle, I will admit, Shinobi-wan. But yeah, this one's definitely fully 60 Hz. I don't believe this is optimized in the slightest. It even has the Japanese, you know, if you put the Sega Saturn CD into the disk drive and play track 2, it'll give you a message. The message on this CD is the Japanese version, even though it's the PAL CD, so... So here we go into the prisons. So yes, the prison is very, very nasty. That's how we sort of enter the prison. The guards just stroll around happily. That's probably one of the downsides of this game. There isn't much in the way of combat. It'd be nice if there was much more combat. As it is, it's more like a boss battle combat, so it's very... So we've got to take him out and get... You must get to the sewer. Once you reach the sewer, you can't come back up into the castle. Do you understand? If you leave Drizzit behind anywhere and descend into the sewer, Drizzit... Going forward. Okay, won't be going that way. Uh-oh. So now we've got to... Yeah, you've got this weird mechanic having to pick up Drizzit and carry him around. But he acts like a weird... Too bad she was on the cover, yes. Yeah, no, yeah, Naiko, she was, she will be back, though. Okay, so I'm supposed to... This is really irritating. Yeah, this is an original disc, so... No, we don't have any ODs at the minute, although I am... Yeah. Pick up man's key. Ah, we got to use the key to... Yeah, we got to use the key. So I am... Oh, okay, that's what we got to do. That was a bit of a weird mechanic. Can't toss him over. There's a... Although we can just run down this. So you got all the spikes and you just literally run. Okay, I think I've got to jump actually onto them. But we have been... But I have been looking at the... Is it the Saturnator? Which looks very impressive, so... That's too bad. I don't really want any points, yeah. So... Ah, we finally have some enemy. Ooh. We actually have some non... Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just... Thanks for letting me know, Nike. I just managed to grab the health. I'd literally forgotten I was that badly injured, so... But I have been looking at... So although you say about the drives, the new Saturnator one looks very impressive. That really does look very impressive, the Saturnator, which allows you to literally to plug into the back of a Saturn and then just load everything onto it. You can even run unassigned games. The Saturnator looks interesting. It's just actually shipping one at the minute, so... They've still been updating the firmware. Do you want to fight the terrible... Must conserve your strength till you beat all three. Okay. Okay, so this right at the start tells me I have only need to win one fight. I don't think I can capture this. No, it doesn't look like I can capture anything. Yeah, from what I've seen, the Saturnator looks quite an interesting piece of hardware. The fact it plugs into the back is really interesting. Okay, so basically this is a 3-match fight in effect. Okay, that's my super. But the combat in this... Oh really? How does Bug 1 differ in Japan? Actually, I should have changed the... had the music on for a bit for the last sec. Probably should change the music at the fight, but we don't... I'd be interested just to know what Bug 1 has regional differences. What are the changes out of interest? Okay, I need to be extra careful here, else I'm going to be down for the count. Although I think I might actually finish, seeing as it's getting up to 12 o'clock now, so... Oh! Is that me down for the count? Emulating Saturn still aren't great, but the software is definitely better. SFX is definitely the best one. But the emulation has definitely improved. SFX has come a long way since when it first started, so... Yes, the Saturn 8 definitely looks interesting. I know there was a couple of problems with a few of the 4MB games, but largely it looked like it was pretty much perfect. Okay, you got to dodge these. Yeah, certainly if your disc fails, then the Saturn 8 is beautiful because it just plugs into the back of your Saturn, so, and you don't need to then use your disc drive as much either. You must have said something that possibly violates the auto block we've got on, so I don't know why your message. We just potentially gets detected yet. And sometimes you just get odd messages that YouTube decides it doesn't like as well. Oh, damn it. I only have 211 points left. Okay, so where... So this bit's... No, I must have go that first one go right. Oh. But yeah, I've used SFF in the past and it's actually a pretty good emulator, so in fact of all the Saturn emulators that would definitely be the one to go. Okay, so that one, okay, so okay, that's the order. But really, that's an odd one. That wouldn't be us censoring that. That must be a YouTube banned word. It might think it's some sort of code or something. Okay, since you know it's got a different difficulty. Yeah, Nyko says difficulty is often a common thing that they change. So can I toss this through? Need to toss this. Ooh. Bug 2. Oh, they have half HP in Tomb Raider as well. Didn't realise that. Yeah. There are... Oh, this bit's... The mechanics for throwing this... Did that one go through? No, that didn't. So this is where the physics fail horribly. But certainly we looked at the Saturn 8 and thought that actually looks a really great piece of hardware. So I definitely think we might well get... Oh, where did Drizzt go? Oh dear. No, I didn't realise it had less health, Tomb Raider. I knew it had all the changes in terms of the visual style. Basically, it looks more finished. The PAL version is utterly unfinished. Oh, come on. There we go. Yes, I've lost Drizzt. Matt, who looks like Dunbar. Oh, he doesn't give you a capture chance either, so... Got him. Should have seen there was a capture chance there, but I don't think he was the one I could capture. However, I think I might have... Where's Drizzt? Where's Drizzt gone? So I left him on the floor there. Ho-hum. So what do you guys want to see next week streaming? I'm thinking I'll probably just do Mega Drive games. So I'll debate whether to do some RPGs or possibly the Streets of Rage series next week on Mega Drive. Do all 3 games. We haven't really covered any of them that much, apart from the 3rd one recently. Yeah, I left. Wasn't. You're right, Nike. I wasn't holding Drizzt when I went through one of the doors, so he seems to have vanished now. So that's a bit of an annoyance. So is that a bonus fight? A Vans. The combat, this is probably the worst part about the game, the combat. It just feels a bit sloppy. It just doesn't work. It's like a bad version of Street Fighter. Basically all about getting the super hits out and then... And most of the enemies you only fight once in game as well, so... Oh, he might win this round. Yeah, he's got me this round. This definitely has its quirks. I think Landstalker does it better by far. Yeah, I can't capture this guy either by the looks of it. I'll go for the super. Do I get him with the super? Yes. Okay, much appreciated for the views, everyone. And the likes, very much appreciated. I know we had a few likes before. I have a horrible feeling this is going to tell me where's Drizzt when I get... I always like Sonic 3D, so, but yeah, the speed of it's not as good as it could be. Ah dear, I think I've non-progged myself. I think I'm supposed to throw Drizzt on that. Can't jump, can't attack that. Yeah, it was actually by the lead developer of it. Is it Tim? John Burton actually did an update for Sonic, which is impressive. I have actually worked with John Burton on a game, but I didn't actually meet him in person. But knowing what a car crash that game was... Oh, I can get back. Yeah, that was quite an impressive DX cut. Yeah, that was... So obviously what... Because it was actually done by the original developer, or the lead, who actually ran the company for years till he retired after he got a large payout. Where is Drizzt? Where is Drizzt? Is Drizzt all the way back here? Ha-hum. Yeah, it would have been nice if they'd done an update like that for the Saturn's version. Yes, I think I may have non-progged myself unless Drizzt was back there. So I think 2 hours 30 is a good length for this stream, seeing as we're coming up for midnight, guys. So very much appreciate for everyone being on this stream. So thank you, Charlie Ward. Thank you, Shinobi Wan. Thank you, Naiko. Thank you for joining. Thank you to Cher, although I don't know if she's still here, but thank you for joining. And someone, thank you to Deep Friendship and Maintaining the World Peace as well. Thank you all for joining the stream. Yeah, we do have the Japanese version of Saturn Sonic 3D. If you're testing on hard drive, yeah, you have to remember testing on. Are you testing on retail discs, Charlie, or are you testing on loaders? Because if you're testing on loaders, they may have a slightly different. If you're testing on like H drives, they can completely change the loading time. But that is Dark Savior. Apologies, yes, apologies I lost Drizzt there. But thank you guys, thanks for joining the stream very much. As always, I'll be back next week. I'll put up a poll for what, see you guys what would like interested in streaming. And I will be back next week with more streaming. I'll probably do something more Mega Drive related next week, seeing as we've done a mix. Although it's quite nice to do a mix of content. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks for your support. Very much appreciated. The Japanese coverage of Sonic 3D definitely has... oh, you've got Lotus and Disc. Okay, I have to give it a... It's been a while since I've actually played the Saturn's version, but the Japanese version definitely is much lighter looking cover and everything. And it was released about 3 years later, so... for Drizzit, poor Drizzit. Actually, I'll just stop the music there. So thank you all for watching. As always, thanks for hitting that like button and everything. Much appreciated. And of course, I would say if anyone's new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you for your support, everyone. As I said, I'll be back next week with some more videos and streams. But in the meantime, do stay keep an eye on the community page. I'll put a poll up over probably tomorrow of what you'd like us to stream next week. So do vote on that if you want your chance to see what we stream next week. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining the stream. And I will be back next week doing some more streams. We will have some videos for you over the weekend as well. But I've been your host, Random Gamer Riven. Thank you very much and good night, everyone. Have a good weekend as well. See you all next week.